There's a strong chance you're not that far off from winning in business and at the game of life. It just takes one idea, but you gotta have unwavering belief and burning desire. If you can couple that with a lockdown strategy that's fueled by heart, hustle, and muscle, you got a shot at winning. There's one thing that all champions have in common. They get shit done. So welcome to the Get Shit Done experience. Well, we are back at it again. This is the Get Shit Done experience, also known as www.gsdxpodcast.com. Once again, I'm grateful we keep growing as a podcast, and I really appreciate all of the follows and all of the ratings and reviews. Keep doing it, send it out to your family and friends and let them know that we've got a pretty good show going on here. We're having a lot of fun with it. I've got amazing guests here today. It's very relevant to the time. We are recording today the Friday of the Tyson-Paul fight. So this is going to be pretty amazing because I have on, right here in front of me, an absolute boxing legend. We've got on Bobby Hitz. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
And we also have joining Bob Bates. Bob Bates is one of our fantastic business experts here at TTSG GSD Technologies and 2020 Design. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, these two know each other from way back in the day. You've been running together for a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, high school, yeah.
1980.
So,
no, before that, 76.
76. Holy cow. I was born in 75. No offense.
It's all good.
So, Bobby, I'm curious, kind of how did you get started into the boxing world?
It was something that I always enjoyed. I liked watching it. I could remember second grade, it was probably 1972. Ali was fighting Frazier, and everybody on the playground was taking their sides. And my friend Bobby Miraz and myself were for Ali, and these other kids, these fourth graders, were for Joe Frazier. And we ended up beating them up because they were, we're in second grade. We're we're at Catholic school, and we're beating these kids up, these fourth graders up.
And you were in second grade?
Yeah, over the Ali fight. But that's how much boxing captivated everybody, and Ali was that guy. But I got to tell you, Joe Frazier, what a guy! And I've been blessed in my life to be around some of the greats of my industry. And they always say never meet your idols, but they never disappointed.
Really?
I got to tell you, Ali,
what made George Foreman so amazing?
George Foreman
or Ali?
Just I'd have to go one at a time.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, like Ali was a guy who. He was what you saw. His aura was just incredible. But his belief in himself is what made him a driving force, a monsoon, because he had such a belief in himself, and he was the ultimate politician. You know, could sell it. I mean, he was as popular. He was at one point. He was as popular as Jesus Christ was, and it's a true statement. He was known worldwide.
Worldwide, kind of like Jordan eventually became.
Yeah, well, Jordan was never as big as Ali.
No, but Ali was the biggest.
Ali, there was, and he was a gracious guy. He would sign autographs to the last person was there. He was always quick with the joke. And later on in life, I got to see him again, and just an amazing guy. And when he passed away, I did the in-studio broadcast on Comcast Sportsnet for his funeral.
Wow.
I was part of that team, broadcast team. And he was a one of a kind. And fast forward, Joe Frazier, another guy, got to know him. And I remember as a professional fighter, my very first loss, he happened to be at the fight. And he came in my dressing room. Now, I didn't know him or anything. Came in my dressing room, asked everybody to leave, and I stood up and, hey, champ, nice to see you. And he put his arms around me and he was hugging me and he whispers in my ear, he goes, listen, son, he goes, I lost the heavyweight championship of the world and I came back. He says, you're going to be back. You're a tough kid. You did great. Don't let this get you down. Like the words of encouragement were just so, like it lives with you forever. And it gives you that drive to know that, learning how to win, you have to know how to lose, right? And to me, when I go back in my time, and you think about the things that happened to you, and you pull from those experiences. When you have a Joe Frazier giving you that life lesson, you have George Foreman, telling you plan your work and work your plan. All these, these men were just guys that I idolized.
There's always savings, but it's about way more than savings alone. Total Technology Solutions Group redefines managed print services. Excellence is the minimum standard. TTSG is a true managed print service provider, deeply understanding your technology and business goals. Your business is unique. Our solutions are tailored to your current and future business goals. Our customer-first approach empowers and delights. TTSG can ensure your technology environment will scale as your business does. So as you navigate business and constant change, partner with TTSG for premium advisement and seamless implementation of your technology goals. We set the bar high. Your people deserve it. Peace of mind, powerful innovation, TTSG.com. And those things for somebody who's, in a power position, and you've got to have an alpha type of attitude to be an effective boxer. So probably the average person saying, hey, don't worry, you'll be better, probably doesn't resonate quite as much as a Joe Frazier saying to you, because he's been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. So It just hits different.
Well, yeah, it hits hard, man. And it's like, if boxing was easy, everyone would do it. And at that level, it's a whole different game. And being around, I've been around everybody. I mean, Thomas Hitman Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, Alexis Arguello, Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, was a dear friend of mine. I mean, it's like tonight I'm picking up Boom Boom Mancini at the airport. We're going to go out and host an event at the Hard Rock Casino in Rockford.
Let's go.
For the Jake Paul fight. I mean, and Boom's a great friend. Boom was a guy that you would turn on the TV as a kid and watch him, and now he's like one of my dear friends.
Yeah.
It's like wow, like
He always had the coolest trunks too.
Oh, but Boom is the best guy in the world. Solid. Like most fighters are really great.
Yeah.
The one, can I swear?
You can say whatever you want. It's called the get shit done experience, Bobby.
All right. So like the biggest asshole I ever met in boxing was just one guy, Marvin Hagler. He was a total jerk.
Really?
Total jerk off. I did not like
He
him.
wasn't marvelous then.
No, he wasn't. He was so back in Chicago had a nightclub called Faces.
Okay.
Which was our equivalent to Studio 54. So I'm in there. I'm a young guy. I might have had 3 pro fights at the
Got
time.
a little cash.
And he happened to be in there, Marvin Hagler. It's like, wow, Marvin Hagler, the champ, right? And I go and introduce myself to him, and he says to me, listen, kid, I ain't got time to talk to you. I'm here with this girl. I don't have time to talk to you. And I said, well, how about if I take you outside and bust your head? How about that? Because you're in my town.
Yeah.
Now, here's a guy, the heavyweight. He's the middleweight champion.
Middleweight, you're a heavyweight.
But I only have 3 pro fights. But I'm still a guy. I'm still a respectable person. But don't disrespect me because you think who you are. Like I'll bring you down like you're nobody if you want to be disrespectful. And that's the whole thing. Like I tell everybody, my employees, whatever. It costs nothing to be nice.
Isn't that the best marketing play is to be kind?
It's the freest thing you can do. It costs nothing to be nice.
Yeah.
And being raised Catholic, you turn the other cheek, and which has been a learned trait for me.
You were busting some cheeks,
Well, but you had to. That was the nature of who you were as a fighter. As a fighter, you had to walk a different walk when you did this for a living. Like it's not for everybody. So that edge you had to keep that edge, and I think that's what makes great fighters remarkable. Because to have all the wealth and all the notoriety and all the fame, but still maintain that spark.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. You see a lot of football players, a lot of athletes. Once they get the big contract, their output diminishes immensely.
Boxing's a little different, though.
Fighter can't be that
eat
way.
what you kill.
Well, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, to be a fighter, our fraternity is really, really unique and special.
Yeah.
And you work with a controlled rage, if that makes sense, right? So
controlled violence is what they were saying. Yeah.
So, and literally, when you see guys hug after a fight, like that's genuine.
Yeah. See, I never understood that.
It's genuine. So like my ritual, I would get up, do my thing in the daytime. I'm fighting that night, right? So I would watch the Raging Bull because Jake LaMotta was a friggin' animal, just an animal, and I'll tell you that story in a minute. So, but he was an animal, and so I would get some inspiration watching the Raging Bull every time I fought. Then we would drive to the arena wherever we were fighting at, and I would just have that like, those are the really reflection times, right? Mm-hmm. You're in the dressing room, and all of a sudden you get that 20 minutes. So now you got. Does
the heart rate go up?
Yeah, you start to get like this. and for me, like this frenzy in my head going. Like I'm just starting to get like just in that zone.
Working
right?
yourself up.
But I got to tell you, that walk from the dressing room to the ring would strip most men of anything they ever thought they had. You know, it's going into war. And that walk is the loneliest walk because you're retracing all your steps, what you trained for. And if you take that step and you're like, I ran every day, I ate good, I didn't skip a beat, I didn't cut any corners. By the time you climb those steps, you're invincible. If you take that walk and like, geez, I shouldn't have stayed out late, I shouldn't have been with that girl.
I don't know if I tied my shorts right. You know,
right.
Like,
all of a sudden you get in the ring, you're a beaten guy. Like most, I think most athletic endeavors are 90% mental. It's 10% physical. It's mind over matter. And if you don't mind, it don't matter, right?
Yeah.
So you have to really get yourself into that zone. So then you get in the ring, and now you're looking at a guy that did absolutely nothing to you, and you have to go beat him up.
Yeah.
So think about how you have to flip a switch, right? Like all of a sudden, like, you know, and then you get in the game mode. Then you're in a clinch and you're telling him things that I can't repeat here, and you're saying things to him about his mother. And while you're in the clinch, you're whispering. And then all of a sudden, it's all done. You just got done punching each other for 10 rounds, and you hug. It's like, hey, man, that was great. You know, it's like, that's amazing. You look at Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. They had those 3 great fights, epic fights, and they were the best of friends. Jake LaMotta and Rocky Graziano, best of friends. Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson fought 6 times. And Jake would say, I fought Ray Robinson so many times, it's a wonder I don't have sugar diabetes, right? But he was for one of Jake's weddings, Ray Robinson stood best man for him. So boxing, for that moment, there's not even a dislike. It's just a job, right? Mm-hmm. But then you're friends, like Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes, like they're best of friends. They made each other lots of money.
They made each other money.
Lots of money.
It's a collaboration.
And Jerry's a friend. I just had Jerry in town here. I have my restaurant in Lamont, Illinois, Rosebud Lamont. And Jerry just was in for a big dinner with a group of my friends and stuff. So, and he's a great guy, and he tells all the stories of yesteryear, and it's just a fantastic fraternity.
Yeah, when these guys start talking, I would imagine the room goes silent just to soak it. I'm sitting here with you, right? Yeah. And I'm going. Don't think of the next thing to say, which is a typical podcast thing, right? Because you got to keep it going. So you're like, okay, where am I going to take?
I'll lead you.
With what you're saying, I'm just sitting here going, just take this in. No, just soak this in.
You know, but if anybody has seen the movie Raging Bull, did you ever see it?
I have not.
What do you mean?
I've seen bits and parts.
What are you, like a communist? How could you not?
Well, my real name is Yuri. So
how could you not have watched the Raging Bull?
I have not seen it.
He will tonight.
I will tonight.
After.
Yeah.
So I can't even tell the story because
you can tell the story.
No, because it won't resonate.
The listeners will. There's other people. Other people will hear this.
All right, so but I'm gonna have to set the stage now.
Set it. We got all day.
So you saw in the movie how Jake LaMotta was a extremely jealous guy. Like he was, and even though I don't really care for Robert De Niro anymore, what he did, capturing the nuance of Jake LaMotta, was just astonishing because he literally went and stayed on Jake's couch for like a year.
No kidding.
To learn the part, to absorb Jake LaMotta. Jake was the raging bull, but he was a raging maniac also. But he was so jealous of his wife, Vicky, who was beautiful. And there's a scene in the movie about, he thinks his brother was with his wife, and it's just a classic scene. So fast forward all these years, I go on to becoming a promoter, and I'm doing these shows. And every year I do a show the day before Thanksgiving. It was a big event for me. And I would always bring in a special guest. So for a couple of years, I'd bring in Jake, because he'd come in, sign autographs. I had a restaurant downtown next to Harry Carey's called Nana's Cafe, which was a juggernaut of every media person. It was the greatest little spot in the world till I got divorced and everything had to go.
Oops.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
But it was the great little joint, man. And I would have these dinners before my event, and we'd have that at the Bismarck Hotel, which the Wirtzes owned the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
And the Wirtz family, the father was very, very involved in boxing in the 50s and 60s. Oh my God, yeah, very
interesting.
Big. At the stadium, 40s and 50s, yeah. So I bring Jake in, and now I have Bobby Ches coming in. Now Bobby Ches was a 3-time world champion. Mm-hmm. He's a Mensa member. He is a was accepted to the Annapolis Medical School to be a doctor.
Wow.
And he chose the path of becoming a fighter. Becomes a 2 or 3 time world champion. At the time, he was the broadcaster on Showtime for Showtime Championship Boxing. So his career had gone full circle. Now he's on the media end of it. So Bobby's a friend, Jake's a friend. I get them in the car. So I have Jake and Jake Jr. in the back seat, going around to the next terminal at Continental Airlines. It's not even in business anymore. I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm picking up Bobby. Jake Sr. says to Junior, you know who that is, don't you? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's Bobby Ches, a champion like you, Pop. He called him Pop. He goes, yeah. He goes, but he slept with your mother. Now, if you watch the movie, it'll resonate with you what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it was a big thing then. Like, he thought everyone was sleeping with his wife, right? Slept with your mother. So I'm like, and I can't believe I'm hearing this. I'm like, I can't even believe this. So now I pick up Bobby. They exchange pleasantries. I'm heading down to Kennedy here in Chicago. For those that don't live the Kennedy Expressway, I'm going to the Nico Hotel. I'm going to be very specific.
Please do.
Going to the Nico Hotel where I'm keeping everybody. We get around Fullerton Avenue, which is almost to downtown, and I hear Jake say to Bobby, and this is how Jake talked, Bobby, let me ask you a question. He goes, yeah, champ, what's up? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do that to me? He goes, Jake, what are you talking about? Why'd you sleep with Vicky? But he used another word. Why'd you sleep with Vicky? He goes, Bobby goes, this again? You're going to ask me this again? He goes, Jake, how many times I got to tell you? It wasn't me. It was Boom Boom Mancini.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, it's just a classic story.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Full circle now. You're picking up Boom Boom.
I'm picking up Boom Boom today. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Boom Boom, don't worry. Jake ain't coming.
No, Jake's passed away.
Jake ain't coming.
But it was just like, these guys are boxers are all characters. It's just amazing. And Jake would do this stand-up routine. He thought he was like a half a comic. So I would have him on a big radio show. Jonathan Brandmeier was a huge radio legend.
Johnny B.
The Loop.
And Jake would get triggered. So his son or I would have to say to him, Jake, what neighborhood you grow up in? Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, Rocky Graziano and I grew up in the same neighborhood. We were walking one night, and he says, we were in somewhere else. He goes, hey, Rocky, what is that? Is that the sun or the moon? He goes, I don't know. I'm not from this neighborhood. You know? He goes, but then he'd go on and just keep going. He goes, you know, we were thieves, but not only we were thieves, we were sophisticated thieves. We stole everything that began with an A. An A? Yeah, an apple, a bike, a car, a diamond, you know. And he would just keep going like an autopilot, you know. Yeah. So it was like
You can't make that up.
No.
it was hysterical, you know. But Bob was a wrestler. He was a high-level wrestler, and he went to college, wrestled at college, so he understands about the athletic aspect of people, but the characters you have to be, because even wrestling, you'd have to kind of
There's
get yourself
switch.
psyched up, right?
Oh, big time. You'd stare people down. I mean, before the match, even at weigh-in, you know, I've got you, man.
Yeah.
You know, just like they do today in boxing. But back then, it was fully stripped down weigh-ins. It was interesting.
Bob, you got to stop staring down the clients that you're going to see, though, before you go into a...
Oh, no, not that way, no. But out on the mat.
Yeah,
you
for
see
sure.
where the guy's sitting. You just sit there and look at him, and he'd catch you looking at him, and you just don't stop until you're done.
When do you know, when you're staring somebody down, when do you know that you got him? I mean, I know you have to have the self-belief, but
I'll
is
be
there
honest with
something
you,
that flips where you go, oh, I got this guy?
I never stared at him.
No?
Nope. I would always stare at the ground. Never looked at
I
him.
wonder what's scarier. Because Tyson, he does the thing where he like looks at you, and if you look away, he looks away with you. Like he just kind of follows wherever you go.
Yeah, like to me, I'm too smart to fall for that.
Yeah.
I would just look at the ground, and the guy would think,
He doesn't
what's
even
he
care.
thinking?
Yeah, what's he thinking?
Because like I am not even going to look at. You're not even to me. You're not even worth me looking at.
Yeah.
That was my game. Like you're not even worth my.
Or I don't want to look at the thing I'm about to kill.
No, you're just not worth my stare.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But you're going to hug him in the end.
100%. But it's crazy how, as a fighter and then being in business, like, you know, sometimes things get combative in business. And, you know, it's like, I can remember very early in my career, I went to a venue to do a deal with the guy. And I had my sheet out, here's what I need and everything. And the guy reaches across the desk and just starts going, no, and it starts scratching everything off my paper. I got up very calmly. I shut the door. I sat back down. I said, let me ask you a question. what do you think's preventing me from grabbing you by your tie, dragging you over this desk, and taking you to another place for how disrespectful you just were to me?
Yeah.
You think anything's preventing me? He looked at me. I go, I want you to think about that. I got up. I opened up the door again. I go, okay, now where were we? And the guy was just like, like.
But what you're going back to the kindness thing.
Right.
It's not that hard for the person just to articulate it in a proper manner,
right,
with respect.
But you can't do that.
You can't. Yeah,
I can't do it. I did it, but But thank God I worked for myself because I'd have been fired.
Yeah.
But I couldn't fire myself.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, you have to learn things. A lot of being an entrepreneur is instinctual, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm an 8th grade graduate, never went to school, but I had a drive that was like very driven. Like I wanted to be successful, and to me, not in the material sense, in the sense that waking up every day and doing what you want to do with your life, to me, that's a high level of success. And if you, like they always say, if you make a living doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. All those old cliches, right? But it's true.
A very successful person once asked me what I thought was the definition of success. And I was too young to really give an answer. Right. And he said, the definition of success is being able to control your own destiny.
Right.
And that's what you were alluding to, is that you've never followed the regular, the standard path. You followed your heart and what made you happy.
Yeah, I don't get, so in my life, I was a professional fighter. I'm a promoter. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a restaurant owner. I'm a SAG actor. I'm singing a band. Like everything that I just mentioned.
You should really get out and do something with your life.
Is everything I wanted to do, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But even like with the acting,
I was going to say, what's your most recent thing? I've seen it.
Well, I just shot a docudrama called Before Dallas. It's about the Kennedy assassination.
Wow.
So it's a period film, and I played Milwaukee Phil DeRiso, who was a Chicago outfit guy, and I act across from a guy, Frank Calabrese, but not the Frank Calabrese, the real gangster, but the Frank Calabrese, who was actually a Treasury agent.
Okay.
But he's an actor also, and he played Sam Giancana in this film. And we had some really good scenes together, very, very powerful scenes. So I'm excited. There's a guy, Vito Brancato, who I've been on a handful of his films, and talented guy, great writer, director, and so I'm excited for this thing to come out. But I've been on Chicago PD. I've been on all that stuff. You know
I'm curious. What do you take from your experience as an athlete, having to hype yourself up, and kind of how does that maybe translate to you getting yourself prepared to get into character?
Well, the character. See, I guess I'm a method actor, so it's kind of like I'm going to play a fireman, right? So I think to myself, okay, what would Bobby Hitz do as a fireman? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily be that fireman, but it's like, what would I do in that situation? So, but having a boatload of life experiences, it's really easy
to pull from.
It's really easy to pull from, exactly. And so it's like, if being a father, being a business owner, being a tough guy, being all these things, like, being in trouble, those are all things I'm really good at, right?
Everyone's got a talent.
Not necessarily in that order. I'd probably put being in trouble as the main one, right? Well. But as an actor, you can pull from all those experiences and just hone your craft that way. So when I have an acting coach, I'd meet with him and he'd give me a scenario, and it would just be like, okay, I've been there before in my life, and so you retrace your steps, but you just kind of just be yourself.
I don't mean to digress, but you said something very early on in this episode about Ali. Mm-hmm. And as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, somebody that gets that big, that is like impactful to the world big, do you think he was put here for that and boxing was just the vehicle?
Absolutely.
Or do you think boxing was the thing he was put for here, and being that impactful to the world was a subset of that?
I don't want to get all religious.
I got goosebumps on that.
But I think everybody is here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I've personally experienced things where you think what your purpose is, and I've been told that's my purpose. And like, I'm just a guy from out here. Like, I'm like nobody, and my successes are my own successes. but I think it's the message that you carry, and I think it's how you impact other people, and that are important. I think Ali had that it. He had it. Like you know, when a star walks in a room.
Yeah. Do you feel that, right?
Yeah, you just see that. Yeah.
They almost feel otherworldly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, like, I look at, like, my life. And I've been so lucky. Like, I know people from all walks of life. And my former manager, Jackie Callan, who they made the movie about her, Against the Ropes. Meg Ryan played her in the movie. And that was about our situation.
Oh, shit.
And I learned from her at an early age, like, to treat the busboy the same way you treat a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And I saw her do that.
Is humility something that is really important when you're a professional boxer?
Super. You know,
there's always somebody better that's going to come along, right?
Listen, there's always someone tougher, better looking, richer, all those things. So being humble is a great, who has more hair, you know,
those
whatever.
Bastards.
I mean, look at the three of us.
Seriously, we would put a barbershop right out of business.
What was the line earlier, Bob?
Grass doesn't grow on a busy street.
There you go. This thing is always working. All 12 personalities.
No, but I think being humble is a learned trait. You know, like myself, I have an edge to me, but I'm actually, like, really a nice guy. But if you, like, get in my way,
don't cross you.
But I'm to the point now at my advanced age, I don't care anymore. Like, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I can go to bed every night knowing I did the right thing. Integrity is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't get it, shame on them. And as an entrepreneur and as a business person, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions. And it's not about someone always liking you, because when you're on top, there's always going to be someone, like, as a promoter, I've had tons of guys come after my business, come after what I've built up, come after my legacy, my brand, try to take my venues, my sponsors, my fighters. And I always just say, I go, like, now I laugh about it. Before, I was very combative about, like, you would get not a nice
version
from me, but when you try to take from another man's livelihood, that's not a very nice thing. Listen, you want to go into business,
blaze your own trail, man.
Exactly. Don't pick from my garden. I grew this garden. Let me keep my own stuff. Go make your own stuff. And I hate career pathers. I very much dislike a career pather, because that's a person, to me, that has no integrity. And when they meet you, they size you up.
How do you mean career pather? Can you describe that?
Like corporations.
No, but it's like let's say there's three guys in a room, and a career pather walks in the room, a career path thinker, right? He'll size up those three guys and figure out, who can I maneuver
latch
through,
on to,
right? To
got it,
right? And to
so
me,
you mean the politicers who latch on
to
the
politicker,
ass kissers,
just a no integrity.
Yeah.
The guy who stands for nothing. You know what I mean? If you stand for nothing, like,
you'll be tricked by anything.
Exactly,
you fall for anything.
So to me, like, I have tons of friends that are monsterly successful, like, but I keep them as my friend. I don't ever look at them for how can they benefit my life.
Yeah,
if there's something that we can do together,
cool,
then it just happens organically. But I don't ever look at anybody that I'm associated with, and that's probably been, if I have a big demise that I don't want to use yours, take advantage, but take advantage of my situations, because I looked at everybody as my friend. I had a guy, very good friend of mine, who was a very, very powerful politician here, a monster guy. He called me in one day, come and see me. So I went to see him, and he said, when are you going to ask me? I go, ask you what? When are you going to ask me? What? Ask you for what? When are you going to ask me to do something for you? I go, what do you mean? He goes, the old man still has some power. I can do something for you. What do you need me? He goes, you've never asked me for anything. What can I do for you? I said, just be my friend. Just be my friend.
That's awesome.
Because the guy had a ton of power. He picked up the phone.
Things happen.
But I never looked at anybody that way. And so if I've had, I want to do my own thing, even as an actor. I know producers and guys that are on shows and things that could help me.
Yeah.
But I've never once called them to say, hey, give me this spot, or hey, I'm auditioning to put a good word in. I want to stand on my own merits, and I want to be proud of what I do on my own.
You know what's interesting about that is you're a promoter.
Right.
And so by nature as a promoter, you are doing that for these up and coming boxers who are trying to make a living. You're speaking on their behalf. You're big brother. You're the voice. You're the person who's essentially making the business deal happen, helping them to get the recognition and the opportunity to make some money financially. It's interesting that you could compartmentalize that, because in the role of a promoter, it's a lot of asking, it's a lot of aligning, a lot of collaboration.
That's why I'm not really good at it, because I don't like to ask.
Yeah.
Like, that's my biggest fear, is asking somebody for something.
Really?
I swear to God, because I want to be the guy, because I'm the guy that people come to.
You want to be the guy where people go, hey, there's comfort in asking Bobby, because Bobby's going to come through.
You know, like part of what I do, a big thing about what I do is sponsorships. Like, I have to go out and raise sponsor money, companies, whatever, to put money to back these events, right? And it's a really hard thing for me to do.
Yeah.
It's like, I because...
You wish you could self-fund it.
Well, because if it's something that's mutually beneficial, then I'll present it. Hey, here's a deal. Here's what I think. Here's this. What do you think? You know, but I don't like doing things that are just one-sided. I like everybody to win. A good deal is when everybody wins,
absolutely.
not just me.
That's a good deal.
So to me, I kind of cherry pick what I do and who I go after, because, like the Hard Rock Casino, I have a deal with them going. We were supposed to start in October, and we're not going to start till Q1 of next year. So this event coming up in Rosemont, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving, it's the Rosemont Rumble featuring Deontay Pettigrew, up and coming heavyweight from Chicago, 13-0. We got big things planned for him.
Yeah, he's not good at it. Right?
But in putting that fight
Nobody
together,
asked.
I went to the casino.
Yeah.
I said, listen, because we had to push the October date, I think it's important that you guys jump on board as a sponsor of this fight to show the synergy between our two companies, so everybody knows it's real.
Perfect.
So I sold them something that was actually a tangible, real item, because we need to show that we're married together. And if I keep saying it but no one sees it, people only believe what they see.
Yeah.
Right?
Sponsorship is hard too, because it's not a locked in benefit. Right? Ultimately, they're going to attach their name to it.
Right.
You're going to get X amount of tickets sold. You're going to get X amount of views. It's going to be on the radio. They're going to get a X amount of logo placement and all those different things.
Right.
But you don't know who's going to look at green signings versus disparity and
Disparity law. If you need a personal injury attorney, Larry Disparity is the best.
Larry Disparity. There you go.
Provon Group. You need insurance, you call my guy MZI Group. I don't know what the hell he does. No, MZI is my good. MZI has been one of my longest sponsors. My friend Artie Miller has a great company, and they do a lot of sub work for like Commonwealth Edison. They're lighting up the world. They're electrical guys, and they're but the big company, but they like to do it because they bring out their customers. They bring out, so it's an entertainment night.
It's the brand experience that they're looking for.
I've had marijuana companies. I've had all kinds of companies, car dealerships. So boxing, what it does is it provides the demographic that there's a demographic there that can reach somebody for some companies. So that's where boxing, because it's a melting pot of ethnicities and everything else.
It also draws money.
Right.
People with money really enjoy boxing. I don't know if it's an alpha to alpha thing. They like, I'm an alpha in business, so I want to see an alpha in the ring, but it does draw in a demographic of financial power.
I do a ton of country club amateur shows.
I would imagine.
And it's amazing to me to see these country club guys.
Yeah.
How just enthralled they are with boxing.
Got their polo shirt on. They've never thrown a punch in their life, but man, they like.
But then I do the University Club of Chicago. We do a 2-night event there, tuxedos, black tie, and it's like that is the upper echelon of our society.
You should
right?
see him in a tux. He looks really good.
Yeah.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
Really.
One of the coolest experiences that I ever had was the high school I went to. I went to Carmel High School in Mundelein. And we had
I do fights at Ivanhoe right now.
Okay, yeah. So we had a boxing charity event, and I got to meet Lou Duva.
Well, guess what? Guess who promoted that show?
Was that you?
Me. Andrew Galata fought on the show.
Yes, Andrew Galata.
I promoted that show.
Get out of here.
I swear to God.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I have a picture with Lou Duva with my Florida State hat on. I wore it every day for 6 years.
I remember that.
Get out of
I
town.
remember that.
That's where he saw you.
Remember I told you I knew you?
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
he figured
Carmel
it
High
out.
School. I was right there at the ring. I was one of the kids helping out. I was carrying chairs.
Remember I told you when
you walked in, you said, I feel like I know you.
Yeah, I'm
He
telling
does.
you.
He does.
Because I put that event on. And I was
event was amazing.
Yeah, that was me.
Andrew Galata. Holy shit.
That was me.
That is so cool. I'm
Right
sending
here.
this to
That
all
was
my
me.
friends that I have left, which is really one or two, but still, I'm going to send it to them. That is amazing. Yeah, Lou Duva was like a rock star trainer at that time. I mean, just unbelievable.
Lou Duva was an amazing guy, and he was a character amongst characters, and he was one of those characters of boxing that I had a Lou Duva moment with Lou Duva, actually.
Okay.
So Lou was a very bombastic guy. Short, little, compact guy. Looked like Barney Rubble, you know.
You remind me
with
of
the
like a
Fred
tough
Flintstone
Tommy
face.
Lasorda.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And Lou was a great guy, great storyteller, great personality. One of the iconic guys of our industry, right? So my fighter, Angel Hernandez, we're at Foxwoods in Connecticut, and we're fighting Kasim Uma. My guy Angel Hernandez fighting Kasim for the #1 spot in the world. Now I'm watching the fight, and I see someone from Duva's camp going over and checking the scorecards between every round.
Oh boy.
Which to me, now I could have done this, but I believe in integrity. And I'm watching this go on. And so Lou was always noted for blowing up in the ring, yelling, screaming, whatever. So I pull a Lou Duva and I give him back what he gives, and I'm going nuts about what they're doing and everything.
So for context, they're not supposed to go look at how
Here,
they're
listen.
scoring it because it affects how you're now coaching. It's like it's kind of cheating, right?
Listen, to me, I don't think it's ethical. Any advantage is an advantage, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
But to me, I just believe in keeping things on the court. Like I had Angel Hernandez fight for the world title. Unbeknownst to me, a Chicago guy was officiating the fight. I'm going to tell you 2 stories like this. Was officiating the fight, just so you get into who I am.
Let's go.
And I made it a point not to even talk to this guy because I didn't want to ever be the air of impropriety where most guys in my business, if they knew the guy who was judging the fight, they would have been all over him. I stayed away. Mm-hmm. He didn't even know that I was involved in the fight.
Okay.
With that, it was my fighter till it was over with. You know what I mean? And when I said to him, "Thanks for that score," and he's like, "Whatever," because I thought he scored it unfairly. Mm-hmm. But to me, he did score it unfairly because my fighter. How can you lose a fight that you throw 600 more punches than the other guy did?
Unless none of them landed. But
neither here nor there.
Yeah. I mean,
so to me, at that moment, I could have done something, but I didn't do anything to cheat. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Another story I'm going to tell you. As a fighter, I go to Milwaukee to fight. The night before, my manager, we go out to dinner with this guy, friend of hers from Milwaukee. We go out and have dinner with him, right? I get in the ring the next night. I'm warming up. I turn around, and that guy we had dinner with is the referee.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, I was mortified. I literally was like, this is horrible. This is horrible.
What is your patient?
Well, right.
The universe is testing your patience. What's happening?
So now the fight proceeds, and it's a tough fight. The guy's holding, hugging, and I'm thinking to myself, if I was fighting anywhere else and I didn't know this guy, I would make it do whatever I had to do. But because here's my mindset, here's how nuts I was. I'm like, I don't want this man to think I'm being disrespectful and can do whatever I want just because I had dinner with him the night before.
Yeah.
So it took me off my game.
Yeah.
It was totally.
You lost your edge. That little spice you needed.
It totally diffused me because of the respect. And I think it comes from my upbringing. My parents always taught me to be that way. And at that moment, I was like, I can't disrespect this man. I don't want him to think I'm a punk just because we had dinner.
Well, don't all of you kind of boxers and just tough guy kind of protectors in the neighborhood, and then you turn into a boxer, and don't you all work on respect? That's like the number one thing.
Yeah, but when you're in a fight, like everyone says,
It goes out the window.
they're like, well, that's not fair. I go, well, we're not playing tennis. It's a fight. Like, I mean, come on, right? Yeah. So at that moment, I could have taken matters in my own.
Yeah.
I could have fought fire with fire, and I had my way. But because I didn't, it took me off my game. I ended up breaking my ankle in the fight. It was the worst thing that happened to me. The guy had me in a clinch. He tried to throw me. I just stood my ground. Boom, snapped my ankle. And I fought 8 more rounds on a broken ankle. I was in a cast for 28 weeks. It was just horrible.
Did you win?
It was a no contest because he fouled me. But it was just a horrible experience for me. Fast forward, now I'm a promoter.
Yeah.
Now we're going over to Denmark to fight. I'm bringing one of my fighters here to Denmark for a championship. Well, the championship organization was a new one. So I get over there. The promoter there makes me the supervisor. You're going to be the supervisor. I go, hang on a minute. I'm the supervisor for a fight that my fighter's fighting in the championship for. I'm
It's
like,
a conflict of interest, though.
I'm like, oh, I don't like this. But he goes, don't tell anyone you're his promoter. I'm like, geez, I can't believe I'm in this situation. Yeah. So now we get there. We get to the arena. One side of the arena is Danish Hells Angels.
Oh, Lord.
The other side are Danish Banditos, 2 big biker gangs. And then the fighter we're fighting is affiliated with one of them. I don't know who. So in the second round, my fighter goes down. He's on one knee, and the fighter hits him. Now, in my capacity, I could have disqualified him.
Yeah.
We win. We set up a rematch. Could have made a lot of money. But I looked to my left, looked to my right, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not. I didn't like being in that position. Mm-hmm. So it's another time where I could have used
your leverage
to benefit myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so you're a do the right thing even when it hurts guy.
I think so. Even like I want to be nice there. Even like breaking up with a girl, like I don't want to hurt her feelings. So I'll take the abuse just so I don't hurt her feelings. You know what I mean? Like I've never come and said I'm done with you. I don't want to be. It's just like I let it kind of organically like fade out,
just
like fade to black.
Just keep missing dinner.
Yeah, can't make it today.
Ah man, you know
how to get
things came
over 50.
That's my podcast. I want to do. Yeah.
What's the podcast?
I want it.
Dating over 50?
Dating after 50.
That's beautiful.
He told me that yesterday.
You can use the studio.
I want
Come
to.
on in
I'm going to
here.
use the studio a lot.
Let's go. Come on in.
Yeah, just give me one day a week. I'll use the studio.
Let's go. It's beautiful.
To do my thing studio.
You bring some of those 50-somethings in here.
Not far from your house.
Yeah, it's close.
IT decision makers, this might sting. Frustrated with IT issues, security threats, and the stress of your technology infrastructure, your technology should blend seamlessly with your business objectives. Technology infrastructure management with limited resources can be exhausting and counterproductive. Do you have an MSP but still have problems and technical hiccups? GSD's advisement, proactive maintenance, cutting-edge cybersecurity, cloud solutions, data backup, and local 24/7 help desk can change the game. Your technology should outpace your business operations to allow for growth, and proactive strategies should prevent issues before they arise. Get back your time and your money with GSD. Drive business forward. Leave the technology to GSD. GSDnow.com.
But yeah, so it's. I think if there's one word, it's integrity. And I'm a big believer in integrity. And in business, you have to have integrity. Like when COVID hit, I had just opened up a new restaurant and I got decimated. The peaceful protesters destroyed my neighborhood.
Yeah, they were peaceful, weren't they?
Peaceful, destroyed my neighborhood. And then one of them actually came in the midst of their shenanigans and said, well, what do you care? Insurance is going to cover it. Well, no. If you don't have riot insurance, it doesn't cover it.
Yeah.
So
what do you care?
Right. What do you care? Insurance.
Yeah, it's only my pride and joy. But what do I care?
And I had just been open 7 months. I just put my whole life savings into this endeavor.
Jeez whiz.
So that goes to the side, and you know, it's like the things that are thrown in front of you are just, you know, now. So coming out of that, I'm decimated. But every person that I did business with that was a friend, a local guy, I made sure I paid my bills with them. And I called one guy, my wine guy, who had sold his big wine company, had a non-compete, came back, had this little boutique wine business. I bought all my Italian wines from him. And I called him up, and I might have owed him like $1,500 or something. I said, I want to pay you. He goes, I got to tell you, he goes, the mere fact that you called me to pay me, you don't owe me anything. You owe me nothing. He goes, I know you'll get back on your feet and something will happen for you and you're going to...
So you do the right thing, it causes other people to do right by you.
I think so. I believe in paying it forward.
Yeah.
I believe in paying it forward.
There's that universal bank, right?
Yeah.
It's like
I think
you
so.
keep putting money into that universal bank, it keeps paying out.
Yeah. I mean, when I got your email and it said, what, like you had your little questionnaire, which I was like, I don't like filling stuff out.
Yeah.
But you had one question that was like, I forgot what the question was, but I used the word blessed. I said I'm blessed. Describe yourself in one word.
Yeah.
I said blessed.
Yep, that's it.
And I truly think I have a blessed life, and not for any reason, but just you try to be a good person, and being in a restaurant business like I'm in, and having the multitude of personalities and ethnicities and everything I have to deal with, it's like trying to make this whole team work together and trying to ingratiate them into going out and doing a good job for me, because people will ask the question, what's your biggest asset to a business guy? And most of them say, oh, my customer. To me, it's my employees.
Your people.
It's my because if I don't have good people, I won't have good employees.
Yeah, and you won't have good customers.
And I won't have good customers.
Yeah.
So it's like, but a lot of guys make the mistake in thinking it's the customer. And I had a situation 2 weeks ago where I got one of those, well, we're the customer, we're always right. Not in here, you're not.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
What's right is right.
The entitledness of some of these people, especially post-COVID, is just, it's unbelievable, especially in the restaurant business. And I will say to them, I'd like to ask you a question. Because I work in a restaurant, it gives you the right to talk to me the way you're speaking to me?
I think people feel like that's the case.
And I said, you have to remember something. I'm somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's boyfriend, I'm somebody's, brother, somebody, like I'm still somebody.
Yeah.
You can't talk to me like that without, if you want it, you can continue to.
You can,
but then you could see a different side of me, which you're not going to really like.
Yeah.
And I really mean that, because people say, I can't believe you said that. Well, it's the truth, because people need to respect each other, no matter what your walk of life is. I respect my dishwasher, my busboy, my head chef, my manager. When I walk in my restaurant, I say hello to everybody. I shake their hands. Great job, because I truly believe it. Number one, I have a great situation. I am so blessed. Great food, great staff, great customers. Like, I'm blessed, and I try to verbally reward them with that. Let them know I appreciate what they do. And even if I have a bad situation, even with a customer where they'll get mad, and I'll say to them, listen, nobody could be that upset. I'd like to know what my team did to you to make you this upset. Let me get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, get to the root.
And then I usually am able to turn it around and win a customer for life, because it's just
people when you're good, you're good. People care about how good are you when you're bad.
Right.
Like, what do you do about making the mistake? It's interesting. You the word blessed, and I wonder this, and I think about this often. I hear it a lot, like, oh, that person's so blessed. But I think that since we have free will, I think we create our blessings, don't we? Like, by doing the right thing, by having the right level of positivity, by making kindness a mantra of yours. You could be the toughest person in the world, but to have an act of kindness when you're outside of the ring is powerful. So maybe those blessings, when you say, I'm blessed, maybe internally you should say, hey, I've done all the right things to get blessed.
No, because I've done a lot of wrong things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But your stack of chips your stack of chips of the right thing is probably bigger than the wrong thing. Look, if anyone who's listening to this hasn't done a wrong thing, good for you. Like, wow, but I can tell you I've done a lot of wrong things. I just hope that I do more good things than wrong things. That's for sure. It sounds like that's kind of the way you're going.
Yeah, I just think having a path, figuring out, like boxing, for instance. I had a meeting with a young kid last week who's going to turn pro, Michael Bassi, and comes from a great family, father's successful. And I'm like, why do you want to do this? Like, this is, I just want to make sure you have a plan B, because most fighters do not have a plan B.
It's their only option to get out of whatever system they're in.
And I tell them boxing is just a small part of life. That's like, even for me, like, I wasn't the greatest fighter in the world. I didn't win a world championship. But I use boxing as a conduit for the rest of my life to be different and to
network.
But to use the discipline I learned as a fighter and the respect to bring that into other phases of my life. And so someone will, oh, that's a hard thing. I go, there's 24 hours in a day. I'll work all of them. Like, I'm a tireless worker. I work. I'm always go. I never ever, I don't ever stop.
Bob, there's that word that keeps coming up, discipline.
Yep.
It keeps coming up. Every time I talk to a highly successful entrepreneur, athlete, author, discipline. Discipline is more important than motivation.
Right. And being disciplined will get you success, and you have to be disciplined in like I'm disciplined when it comes to work. Like I'm serious. I get to work, and what I try to do is put my staff on the honor system. I don't try to micromanage.
Yeah.
And when I tell them if I have to reel them in, and I'll do a pre-shift meeting with my staff every shift. I'll talk to them. Here's what we're doing. Here's our objective. Here's what our goals are today. Here's what I'd like you to do.
Clear message.
Right. Give them directives. Right. And I'll let them know. Listen, everybody's on the honor system. If I have to jump in and start putting my arms around everybody, that means someone's failing. I don't want to have to do that. We're all adults here. We're all big people. I go, your section is your brick and mortar. You have a turnkey business.
It's your business.
That I'm providing lighting, gas, food, staff to cook and everything. All you have to do is go sell it.
Go get shit done.
Go sell it. I go, your brick and mortar, cleaning your section is like cutting your grass for your brick and mortar business. I go, you have the easiest job in the world because I give you the foundation. We don't have good food. We have great food. We have a great room. We have a great atmosphere. How hard can it be to do your job? Right. And when I took this restaurant over, I inherited some of the staff there. And I come from a 50-year-old brand, the Rosebud Restaurants. Alex Daner, the owner, is like a father to me. And I've watched this man, tireless worker, successful beyond imagination. But his humility and his work ethic, he's 80 years old, and he still works. He's in one of these kitchens every day. He does not take his foot off the gas. And he calls me every day and gives me a pep talk, a whatever, look at this. And then we have our laughs. He's the funniest guy in the world. But when it comes to business, I learned the bulk of what I learned about my industry from just sitting back and observing him and being able to shotgun him and just watching him. And I say to myself, if I could be a quarter of what this man is, I'll be hugely successful.
Every great person has somebody in their corner that has done that.
My mentor, yep. And my family is a family of entrepreneurs, so I saw my uncles, successful. Everybody, drove their own ship. And to me, I didn't know any other way. So when I got called down to the dean's office and saw my father sitting there February of what would have been my senior year, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" It's 9:00 in the morning. He goes, "Yeah, you're done." What do you mean I'm done? You're done. Done with what? You're done with school. I go, it just started. No, you don't understand. I'm pulling you out of school. You're done.
Yeah.
You're wasting his time, my time, your time. You're done. So then Dean, Mr. Laley. Remember Mr. Laley?
Yeah.
Great guy. He's like, because him and my mother were actually on a first name basis. So much trouble I was in.
Wow.
One day I got called to the office, and I'll get back to the story about my departure from school.
You're doing the weave.
I get called to the office, and he has a folder in front of him, and he's counting these pieces of paper. 6, 7, 27, 38, 68, 71, 81, 82, 83, 86. And he closes the thing and he slams on his desk. He goes, 86. 86 behavior reports. In my whole career, I have never seen anything like this. I said, I said, God's not truth. I go, so did I accomplish the record? He goes, absolutely. I go, well, then I accomplished something. Did I get out of here? Get out. He threw me out of the office.
I'm number one.
Right. But so then to get called down there, to get told I'm being pulled out of school for the rest of my life, I wasn't very happy because I really enjoyed going to school.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy going to class. I didn't enjoy doing anything.
You like the social part of it.
I loved
being with the gang and hanging out.
So we'd be hanging in a thing, and I'd say to his brother Dario, "What do you got? This? I got science. What do you got? I got this. I'm going to come with you." And I'd go in your class.
Yeah.
I would just sit there. They'd be like, "What are you doing in there?" Just keep going. Don't worry
it's all good. Yeah.
So,
I was in the wrestling room with you a couple times.
Yeah. So I remember when Coach Falk, that's a whole other story. Yeah. Anyways, the dean's going through my exit interview, right? And he's like, when you go for a job application, just put you graduated because no one's ever going to check. He goes, and use me as a reference. I go, well, I appreciate all that.
Man, they really wanted you to leave.
I said, but I'll be honest with you, I'm never going to need that. He goes, why? He goes, well, you got that rock and roll. I had a rock band in school. He goes, maybe you can pursue your music. I go, yeah, I think I'm just going to work for myself. And my dad looks at me, because my dad worked for me. He's looked at me and like, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to work for myself. But I appreciate the offer, Mr.
I'm going to use my hands.
Yeah. So then I went back to boxing, and it just, my life developed. I remember being a young fighter. The trainer told me, we're watching the Larry Holmes fight, and they're like, maybe one day you could fight Larry Holmes and be a pro. I go, yeah, I can fight Larry. Like,
yeah, they're starting to kick in. Like, okay, people think I'm good at this.
Yeah, but everything just happened, and then I get a call. I used to run, and I'd run by this barber shop every day, and the barber comes out one day, with the barber pole and the scissors and the smock on. Hey, kid, come here. What are you doing? I go, I'm a fighter. I'm doing my running. He goes, you got a manager? I go, no. He goes, I'm going to manage you. He said, come back and see me tomorrow. So I go back and see him, the local Al the barber, and it just, everything just kind of like, it was like something out of a movie.
It's like it was supposed to happen.
Did he have boxing background?
No,
he's just became your manager.
I'll be your manager.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But he was in the know though. You're a barber. You're in the know.
Yeah,
right. They know everybody.
So and everything just kind of it's just kind of crazy how it all happened.
Yeah.
It could actually be a movie.
Well,
we're gonna write it.
It will be.
Who will play your part? You.
No, I'm too old now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's why I say I'm blessed, because it's like my life just happened. I had
you just went and did things.
I had no plan.
Yeah.
And
you never had a focus. It sounds like on like I'm going to be rich.
No,
that was never your thing.
No,
it was just like, hey, I'm going to go do what I like. I'm going to go do what I know. I'm going to go have fun, and money found you.
Listen, like to me, everything that I have, I go, if I lose all this stuff, because I lost it in my divorce. I've lost it a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I wasn't supposed to have it anyways.
Yeah.
Because of where I come from.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to live in a box in Grand Park.
You feel like you've been playing with house money this whole time.
100%. Like so to me, that's what makes me a little aggressive. Like I enjoy putting it together, and the rewards to me aren't always financially. The rewards to me is seeing someone else's success, being part of you know. Does that make sense?
Okay, so do you feel more comfortable in the role of promoter, and kind of managing these young athletes than you did pursuing it on your own?
It's harder.
Is it harder?
Being a fighter was much easier.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Why is that?
Because you only had two things to do: train and win fights. You had two things to do.
But earlier you said something, Bob, that hit me. You said all of your goals in life you've pretty much already met. What were those goals?
Just so there was a movie called Thief. James Caan played the Thief with James Caan. Willie Nelson was in it. James Belushi. It's like an 80s gangster film. It's a true story about a Chicago thief. It's a great story. And I actually met the real guy. Came into my dressing room at a fight one time. The guy who really was portrayed after, but that's another story.
Yeah.
So at one point, James Caan pulls out this collage. Houses, cars, women, boats, all these things. And he goes, "This is my life." And I kind of mimic that, the stuff, right?
Yeah.
The stuff.
All that outer world stuff.
The stuff. In that one scene in that movie was hard hitting to me, because it's like James Caan in the movie was a car salesman, but he was a diamond thief, in and out of prison, and sharp dressed guy. Like it was just a great movie. Mm-hmm. Great. I could watch it every day. Great movie.
Now I got two movies to watch.
Yep. Thief. I'm telling you, it's from the 80s. It's a great movie. But that scene where he has that. See, like right now, my secretary's calling me with boxing.
Your phone's been blowing up this whole time,
and everything on that collage was kind of like what I thought of. Mm-hmm. It was like that you think is success.
Yeah.
Right. But success is measured in many different ways.
When did you discover that?
Which part?
That success is defined in many different ways. Because I would imagine as a boxer,
after getting knocked down a few times.
Okay.
After getting knocked down a few times, like being an actor, you hear no a lot. Like, okay, so I started acting early, got away from it, went back to it like in 2010. Got a role on a show that had a reoccurring role, so that's like the pinnacle of an actor's career. Got to work alongside of one of my favorite actors, William Forsythe, who's just an ultimate tough guy, tremendous actor. Michael Madsen was in this TV show.
He's great.
So I got to work with two guys that I revered, right? And they both had two different approaches. So I would say to Michael, what do you think I should do? He goes, you're a natural, just be yourself. I would say to Bill, what do you think I should do? He goes, you were a fighter. He goes, what'd you do every day? Did you go to the gym? I go, yeah. He goes, same thing with this craft.
Repetition.
Same thing with this craft. Work at your craft. So I got an acting coach. Because Bill's a well-studied actor.
Yeah, he's
Shakespearean,
kind of like clinical in his approach.
Right.
Yeah.
So after coming off of that series, it took me like 6 months to come down from it because you go to the set every day. You're treated like, Mr. Hitz, can I get you breakfast? It's just like, no, I'm cool. Like I didn't
Too much.
But it was cool, but it's like now you start going on auditions.
It's even cooler to say, nah, I'm good. I don't need it.
No, but you go on auditions and you hear no. You hear no. You don't get the part. You don't get the callback. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? It's like, that's humbling, right?
Like cold calling.
Right. And then you go through a series where it's like, I never went to like, I want to give up. It's just like, okay, fine. And the one part of this whole process for me showed me that it had nothing to do with my acting, because a director has an idea of what he wants to see on film, right? So I auditioned for this part on this TV show called Mind Games with Christian Slater and Steve Zahn.
Okay.
And I was auditioning for the part of all things, a boxing trainer. So I went in, delivered my lines. The casting director, she walked me out and said, Bobby, that was incredible. Because the director of the series, which I think was Sean Penn's brother.
Okay, yeah, Chris Penn.
It wasn't Chris Penn, it was another Penn. Shook my hand. He said, that was fantastic. That was unbelievable. She walks me out and says, I can't believe this. I go, what do you mean? She goes, I've been sitting with this man for 2 weeks. He hasn't said 2 words to anybody. He really, really liked you. Oh, cool. That's great. Thank you. So I leave. I get a call a half hour later. Are you around still? I'm still downtown. Come back over here. We want to talk to you. So they say, listen, read for this other part. Long story short, I get this other part. So they hire me as this other part. I get a consulting role on the show. So I'm consulting the episode. I'm acting on it. So it was a really good deal for me, right? The part that I originally went to a guy. Do you remember the guy who in the movie Rudy, he was the coach, John.
Was he the head coach?
No, it wasn't Charles Dutton who played the janitor. It wasn't him. It was one of the other coaches.
Okay.
But it looked like Charles Dutton.
Got it.
Right? But there's other coach, right? Well, I look nothing like Charles Dutton. I'm complete opposite, right? And it went to a man who was like 70 years old, who was a stoic old, he looked like James Evans or something like that from, you remember? That's what he looked like.
Okay.
But they had me audition for a part of that. I went to James Evans.
Okay.
Right, you follow what I'm saying here?
Yes. You weren't the right fit.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Pigmentation.
Yeah.
Right? But that just goes, that right there said to me, they never know what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. Because you had me read for this part, but you envisioned
something completely different.
Exactly.
I just didn't fit that.
So all of a sudden now I didn't take it so personal when I got said no to. Because guess what? I'm 6'3". How many actors are 6'3"? Not many.
Yeah.
So how do I size up on camera with the lead guy?
Who might be 5'8"?
Exactly.
And now they got to change all the angles, and it doesn't look right.
Like Rocky.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of
your father comment.
Right. So a lot of that angst left me when I understood the process.
Got it.
So it's like
that it wasn't you.
Right.
It was what their creative vision was.
Right.
And you didn't fit that creative vision, and you can't change that.
No.
You can't act yourself into a different pigment. So I'm sorry.
So when they say youth is wasted on the young, that's such a true analogy. It's so true because it's so true. The older I get, the more I understand.
Yeah, tap into that youthful spirit.
The more, because I'm like a kid at heart, but it's like I get it, and I get it.
Yeah. Just that spirit of just being okay. On to the next thing.
Yeah, he took my call yesterday after we connected, only maybe less than 48 hours ago, to even have you come over here, and here he is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He said, I like to strike when the iron's hot, and here it is.
Let's just go.
He was thinking.
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like,
he was thinking yesterday was Friday, and he
cool.
said, how about Monday or Tuesday? I said, what about tomorrow?
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, today is
Even
Thursday.
better. It's a Friday. It's a great
Like I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Like
all
no,
good.
but like I literally go through life. Like to me, every day is the same.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what days. Like it just.
Has it
You know,
always
the
been like that, or
27.
did you create that?
I think I created that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, because it's just to me, it's just let's just go.
Okay, so you got into promoting. What's the most fun part of the promoting? You're putting together this huge event. You're at the top of the heap as it relates to revenue coming in. You're selling sponsorship. You got from the ring girls to the PA announcer and all that stuff. I mean, you're lining all that up. That's got to be just like putting a puzzle together.
I think at the end of the night, I stand at the front and thank everybody for coming. And when people say to me, "This was fantastic," when you're doing the next one, and this man just spent $4,000 on a handful of tickets, to me that's success. He wants to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I take the temperature of the crowd. So the whole night at an event with me, like I'm not one of these promoters. Most guys in my business do absolutely nothing. They have everybody do it for them, and they show up as the figurehead, right?
Yeah, they just get on camera.
I am involved in every aspect of my business. I am on the phones trying to make matches, trying to maneuver my fighters. I don't leave it to somebody else to do it. I get to the venue early during the setup. I watch the setup. I position things. I want lighting here. I want this here. Like I choreograph all of that. I set the tables as far as who I want to seat where, and I'm involved in just every aspect of it. I don't sit back. I don't ever watch the event. I'm walking.
You're working.
I'll probably walk 40,000 steps a night of my event. I'm just Oh, I might say, hey, I'll have a good time, and then I'm off to the next. Like I am, and I'm constantly standing back, watching the crowd response. I'm watching anything. Like I'll go to. I love going to live music. I love concert. I love music, but the thing I enjoy the most is at the concerts is looking at all the window dressing, the lighting, the positioning of the scaffolding. Like I love all the mechanics of it.
All the guts that went into making this show
and
happen.
I look at it and I'm like, like I'll sit there, I'll be at the show in the song, and I'm looking at everything like I'm looking at a section
because you know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what that means because you've been there when the ring's getting put together.
Yeah.
When the chairs are being unfolded.
Yes.
So you know what it means to get to that showtime.
Yeah, so WGN did a spot. They do a spot on their show on WGN television here in Chicago called Someone You Should Know. No, that's Harry Porterfield. That's on Chicago's Very Own.
Yeah.
And they did a segment on me, Chicago's Very Own. And they came to one of my events, and the camera guy could not keep up with me, and then so the thing, they're like, like trying to follow me because I'm
Bobby, slow it down.
But it's like to me, I want to be on the pulse of everything. Same thing at the restaurant. When I'm at the restaurant,
you got to be
Rosebud
the
in
ultimate
Lamont,
front guy.
great Italian food. Rosebud in Lamont, 12350 Derby Road in Lamont, great Italian
go.
food. Anyways, when
I know a guy.
when I'm there though, I'm in the kitchen. I'm watching the food.
Yeah.
I'm on the line. I'm in the front. I'm touching every table. How's everything? I'm pick this up, do that. Like I am. I don't just sit back and I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But like
You work that room though? You got to be a front man.
100%.
Oh man, that's got to be a blast.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't like what
people
I do.
when they go out to dinner, they're like in a good spirit, like they're
Oh, you'd be
they wanna
surprised.
soak
Some
in
of
the
them-
energy. Some of them
walk in very angry.
Yeah, that's probably true. You know what? People like get your shit together and be in a good mood before you go to dinner.
I've been hands put on me 3 times.
What?
All by women.
Oh, that makes sense.
By women.
Because women are like, he's not going to hit me back.
One was over a corkage fee.
Okay.
So corkage fee, for those that don't know, if you bring a wine to a restaurant and they're not selling it to you, they charge a corkage fee. Now my rule is I will put the corkage fee at my least expensive bottle of wine. So at least if I could sell that bottle, right? And if I sell the bottle myself, I really don't want you to bring it in because you could buy it from me.
Yeah.
But I'll do something for you because to me, the answer is yes. What's the question? That's my approach to everything. Because when like customer will have a problem with an item, a dish, whatever, and I'll walk over and I go, stop. I go, is this the worst thing that ever happened to you? They'll say no. Then I can fix it. Let me just fix it for you. How can I make this better for you? Like, I don't want to hear the dissertation about. Oh,
and you want them to come back.
Yeah, I'm going to fix this for you. No problem. I have no problem. I say yes to everything. Let's make it go away and make your experience
There's another thing. Yes, and I keep hearing yes, and.
Yeah, my approach. The answer is yes. What's the question? Like, don't even give me the question because yes, whatever you need. You know, and I was put to that test. The guy said, "Well, you said I get anything I want." Yeah, I have an Italian restaurant. I want egg rolls. You want egg rolls? No problem. Call the Chinese. Bring me 10 egg rolls over. Here you go. The guy was like, "Wow." One guy wanted Brussels sprouts. I didn't have them that day. I didn't have them on my menu. You want Brussels sprouts? I jumped in my car, shot to the store, bought some. And here you go. Where'd you get those? Don't worry about it. Guy wanted a certain beer. I didn't have it. I went and got it for him.
But you know how much
That's
business that's the ultimate marketing. Because that person leaves and tells that story to 15 people at a party and like, that's the place I want to go to.
Right.
That's the ultimate.
But for me, that's my genuine approach because to me, coming into the restaurant is like coming to my home. And when you come to my home, I'm going to give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, here I have this Johnny Blue, but you can't drink
You
that.
can't have that.
Yeah, right.
Have a root beer.
Right, exactly. No, but right.
Don't put it on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but so that's my approach to the only difference between the boxing and the restaurant is it's meatballs or boxing gloves. But it's the same approach. It's about the people. It's about the experience.
Putting on a show.
Yeah.
So speaking of blessed, I feel like I'm blessed because I have this license to learn, this license to steal. This is a badass gig. I get to talk to people that come from all different life experiences, and I'm on a run right now of people coming into the show where I'm getting more out of it than I think they are from being on the show. So I really appreciate that very much, and this has been absolutely awesome. But let's get to the brass tacks of things. It's the Friday of Tyson and Paul.
Oh, yeah.
We have an expert in the freaking room.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've got a whole lesson on a whole bunch of different stuff, but I got to know, what are your thoughts on this fight?
It's going to be great entertainment.
There's a message underneath that.
Yeah. The rules are different. It's bigger gloves. It's less time. It's 2-minute rounds. It's 14-ounce gloves. We usually use 8s or 10s. When I was fighting, we used 8.
So the 8s or 10s have less padding.
Yeah, but it's like it's academic, to be honest with you, but it's subliminal, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It sends a message that it's a little bit less. Those gloves are usually used for exhibitions, anywhere from 14, 18-ounce, 20-ounce gloves are used for exhibitions.
Like, what do they use in the Olympics?
Depending on the weight class, 8s or 10s.
Okay, so that's in line with
maybe
pros.
12s. Maybe 12s.
So when you're saying exhibition, you mean like not sanctioned?
Yeah, but like just kind of like you
Sparring.
hit me, I'll hit you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly, Bob. So it's but this one is taking on it's on everybody. It's on the tip of everybody's tongue.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. It's mind blowing how much attention this is getting, and the unfortunate part is that in the annals of the real boxing world, and let me preface this by saying, I think Jake Paul is a good fighter. He's a lot better than people think he is. I'm not going to disparage his ability because I think the kid has a lot of ability. He's a supreme promoter. I mean,
He's a businessman.
100% sharp as a tack. Like he is sharp personified. Like he's perfect, right? But his ascension has been very choreographed, and the boxing pundits, they poo on that. It's like, well, yeah.
Well, he's
whatever.
being called a manufactured
Well, he is.
boxer,
And
and it's
he
hard to
is.
argue that.
He can't argue it because it's actually true.
Yeah.
Because everybody he's fought has been an MMA fighter, but
Or a former basketball player or a YouTuber.
right. So it's like it's entertainment.
He fought Tommy Fury,
Yeah.
an actual professional fighter,
And he lost.
And he lost. And Tommy Fury is not his brother, right? Tommy Fury is not his brother at all, not highly ranked, solid boxer, great training. John Fury, I'm sure, trained him up pretty well.
Right.
But he's not elite. and he lost to him. So
Right.
now you put him in against 58 years old or not. This is Iron Mike Tyson, who is a natural born killer. I mean, the guy is intense. I don't know what to think.
It's he can punch, right? But I've heard-
Tyson.
yeah, and Jake Paul can punch too.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
I don't know because
Here's the cool part. This is going to air after the fight is over.
yeah, but I don't want to be wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is whatever you say, we'll edit it in. It'll just be like a different voice.
Listen, there's a case for both guys to win.
Really? Yeah.
Both guys possess the ability to win. Mike hasn't been in the ring for over 20 years. He did an exhibition with Roy Jones, which was I'd rather watch paint dry than watch that.
They just
charade.
danced.
Right. A lot of money involved, and when there's money involved, a lot of things can happen. I look at the upside. What's the upside? Okay, Jake Paul wins. His minions continue to follow him like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because all these followers still think it's Mike Tyson of the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
To them, they can't put it together that he's almost 60 years old. Not that that's a death sentence, but it's a
difference maker.
It's a very tough endeavor, right? So to me, what's his upside? The train keeps going. Mike Tyson wins. It's a notch in his belt. He's not going to have a career after this. He's not going to go fight again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because very few jurisdictions would even sanction that. And that's why Texas even made it less rounds. They had to have some caveats thrown in there
just to get it in.
to make it work. So it's not the norm. For those that don't know, the normal round is 3 minutes.
12 rounds for a championship
10
fight.
to 10 to 12 rounds at least. This is 8 rounds, which is like the upper level of a preliminary fight, but it's 2-minute rounds. The girls fight with 2-minute rounds. Not that I'm saying they're girls, but I'm just putting it.
Which, by the way, might be the better fight.
right? I'm just putting it in perspective. I've heard all sorts of tales that there's caveats in the contract that if the longer it goes, the more money you make. Which I don't know if that's true. There's 7 states that won't let wagering go on this fight, so they think it's entertainment.
It's already done.
Along the lines of WWE. So I guess I don't know because I don't know what it is.
And you don't know what the advantage is to the contract, not the fight. The contract.
I just don't know what it is. I don't. To me, it's great entertainment. It's going to be great entertainment.
It will be. It'll be fantastic.
And back when Mike Tyson was at his prime, boxing hung on everything that Mike Tyson did. And I remember doing an interview because Mike Tyson did something wrong. And I said, listen, this is Hitz Boxing. This is what we do here in Chicago. What Mike Tyson does has no impact on Hitz Boxing.
Yeah.
And I had to separate myself because everybody lumps it together because people aren't astute enough to understand the differences.
Right.
And so these young followers think that, like, this is real. And think about Jake Paul. How does he keep the train going? By keep winning. If he loses to a 58-year-old guy, how detrimental would that be to him?
Good
So
point.
can I give you my take on this?
Go ahead. It's your show.
I think.
I think.
Thank you. I think that Tyson can't lose. This is a money play,
Right.
And his legacy's already built. And
Right.
legacy doesn't even matter to him. He had some weird answer on legacy the other day. He's already.
Did you see that with the young girl
kid.
interview? Yeah.
Yeah, with the kid, he went crazy about legacy. It don't mean anything. With Jake Paul, all he wants is validation. He's been striving for validation to be recognized as an actual boxer. This just moves him a little bit closer to that.
Right.
So that somebody that actually is an actual boxer will take the fight. Because I don't think an actual boxer, somebody who's actually
Oh, no.
Currently in this.
I don't
No,
think
no.
they would take the fight unless there's huge freaking money.
No. They all want to take the fight.
Do they really?
Everybody's lining up to fight him.
They don't think that they don't think it would be just like a fast knockout and diminishing to their reputation.
No. Everybody's looking to take his head off.
Oh, really?
Everybody in the real world of boxing.
Okay.
They're lining up to get him. Lining
shit.
up. Oh, yeah. No one's shying away from him. Nobody.
Because he's an easy win and a magnet for money.
Well, I think money's the big motivator, But what people have to understand is Jake's the one that sells the fight. After he fought and lost to Tommy Fury, I think he had to come back against an MMA guy. I think Nate Diaz, right?
Nate Diaz, yeah.
So Nate Diaz was also a great dance partner because he brought his MMA crowd with him.
He brought in a new type of follower.
Right. So at that point, Jake needed a dance partner. His dance partner now is Mike Tyson.
So this is just a mastery of marketing.
It's fantastic. It's
brilliant.
I'd love to be part of it.
I mean, this guy is a social media juggernaut, and he understands how to get one following to latch onto his following.
But think about how he did it by putting
YouTube,
putting skyrockets in his ass and all kind of goofy things.
What about the slap?
Yeah.
What do you think about the slap?
I mean, he didn't even wobble. I don't know.
There was nothing to it.
Look choreographed. But Jake Paul got his notoriety by being a goofball. And that's what I tell all these young kids who want to go on that path. I go, listen to me. And like, even with my son, I go, the decisions you make at 18 aren't the same ones you're going to make when you're 40. And you have to maintain your credibility along the way. So, like, I have a nephew of mine that's in that world podcasting, and it was part of the better team and all that stuff. And I'm like, you got to remember, I said, you don't want to be known as the goofball. You don't want to be known, like, you don't want your legacy to be that, because you're 20, you're 30, then you're 40.
And it fades.
Right. It goes.
You can't keep it up.
But the memory lasts forever, right? So you don't want that to last forever. So same thing with my agent. When I had signed a development deal with Sirens production company. They do the Pawn Stars, and they do Housewives of New Jersey. And they signed me to a development deal. Told my agent about it, and they said, we don't want you to do that. Why? Well, because in a reality thing, it's not reality, number one, but number two, if you're the goofball, if you're the jerk off, it's bad for your reputation.
You get typecast.
So I didn't.
Well, good for you.
I just let the contract run its course. I never did anything, never developed anything, and I let it just go by the wayside. But I actually had a deal for a reality show on more than one occasion, but I didn't do it because of that tangible, because I want to consider myself a real thespian.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you had to be held down to an outcome that you would like, not predicting, so we won't do the prediction, but an outcome that you would love tonight, that would make you the happiest, what would be the outcome?
I honestly don't have an answer.
Yes,
because I think about the repercussions, because people believe everything they read, see, and hear, right? And I think about what it does to my business.
So you think this could potentially be detrimental?
It could. It could.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's talking about it. There's a lot more things that they should be talking about in the world of boxing than this. But because the marketing is so fantastic,
it's so good.
It's amazing. Like, listen, the guy's amazing. It's just amazing.
He's a marketing expert.
and I think he's a genius. The kid's a genius. His brother's a genius.
Yep.
They have mapped out their legacy. They're terrific. And as long as people understand what it is, but people actually believe it.
And you feel like that will delegitimize
boxing,
the real boxing that you're promoting.
Well, boxing is not a mainstream sport. How many mothers in Hinsdale want their kids to be fighters?
Not many.
Right?
They don't even want to play football anymore.
Right, exactly, right?
Lacrosse is not
or Elmhurst,
thing.
right? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so it's like our audience is very limited, right? We're small but mighty, But
that audience is loyal.
Right. But anything that could be good for boxing usually stubs its toe. Like the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. They brought me on Fox to talk about it before the fight. And I said, boxing hangs on this fight. And they go, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm going to tell you how I think the fight's going to go. Floyd Mayweather has never stood there and actually had a fight.
Yeah.
He's actually the Carl Lewis of boxing.
He plays defense for 15 rounds.
I go, this fight should be sponsored by Ambien. He's the most boring fighter in the world. I said, and unfortunately, boxing will suffer because the hype of this fight won't be lived up to. Everybody will be disappointed. And boxing will take another shot because the hype was so great in the event didn't match up to it. So now we suffer again because the responsibility as a fighter is to put on a great show and give yourself to keep the fans coming back. Not to just listen, we all work for our money. It's just like football players. Do you play the game for the love of it, or do you play it for the money? Right? Same thing with boxing. Do you love it or you just want the money?
Yeah.
Because if money's your only motivator, just go get a job.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like you have to love something.
I don't know if can you be a champion if you don't love it? If you do it just for the money? I don't know how you could sustain the discipline.
Well, that's what makes great champions great. The Sugar Ray Leonards, the Tommy Hearns,
love it.
The fighters of yesteryear.
Yeah.
The modern day guy, when they taste a little bit of the gold, they say, "Where's that guy? Where's he at now? Who's the guy? Who's the guy?" I don't know who the guy is.
I mean, we knew for so long, and I'm worried about the industry because we don't know.
Right.
I mean, I got to tell you, Fury, the older brother,
love him. Tyson. Love him.
Tyson Fury's freaking awesome. Those 3 fights he had with Wilder.
Yeah.
Where if you watch them consecutively, which I went down the rabbit hole, you just watch them on YouTube, 6 hours of amazing. I mean, the fact that he got up I think it was the second fight.
Yeah.
He got his face just knocked in. He was out. He gets up with 7 seconds, puts the gloves up at 8, comes back out, lasts the fight. And it's just unbelievable. But I don't know who after him. Who
we fought on one of his undercards, and I got to tell you, what a fun-loving, jovial guy.
Yeah.
Like we're in the dressing room. We're in the in the dungeon of the arena, and he's walking through, going to the ring, and he was just smiling. Like he has a good time.
Yeah,
it's a good time. Like I love his aura. His aura.
He's got it. Yeah,
he's terrific.
He's a faithful guy. He's God-fearing guy. But he's got that gypsy in him too.
It's great.
Right?
And he's he's a tinker.
Yeah.
But he was like, there was a guy like that I could relate to. Like he had it all. You know, if I could fight, I would have been a great world champion. I just couldn't fight that good. But I've been a great world champion.
Yeah.
You know, because I love people. I love the whole interaction of it all. But to be a great fighter takes a real special person. And to get yourself up for it, like I used to see Tommy Hearns. I used to train alongside him. He had a Rolls Royce, had a Rolls Royce limousine, had Porsche 930 slant nose convertible. He had a home with a built-in pool in his house, 5-time world champion, shape of a boxing glove. He had all the had everything, right? But when he trained for a fight, it was like he
went back to the Stone Age.
Manuel Stewart had houses in his neighborhood that he kept for all the fighters, and he'd leave his palatial estate to go live in the house with all his team and up doing road work in the morning and just like, and it's like with all his riches, and he didn't have to do this anymore. That's the love of the game.
So it's kind of like you with acting, the method acting. You got they go back to that method of where the grit.
And once you lose that edge, you shouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, when they hang in too long, that's the hang in too long syndrome. But as a fighter, we always think we have one more in us. I'm 62 years old, and I think I still have one more in me, maybe
So you
two.
think Tyson has that right now? You
100%.
think that's
do.
what's rolling through his head?
I do.
The Hitz Tyson.
I do, yeah.
And Bobby Hitz with the perfect name, by the way.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bob? What's happening tonight?
Oh, man. It, like Bob said, it's pretty much probably already decided.
Yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but I'm going to watch it.
I think Paul wins because it matters more to him to win. And I think Tyson gets a nice check, but he's already has a legacy, and he gets to ride off in the sunset with a.
Then, if I were able to bet on it, if it is, can you bet on it in Illinois?
I think so. I don't know. There's 7 states it's not. It's
I would pick Tyson.
You would pick Tyson?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, Tyson's, but Jake could punch. But like, if you're just going to go on punching, if Tyson comes out in a buzzsaw for 2 minutes, I think that benefits him.
Yeah. If it goes 6 rounds, it doesn't benefit Tyson.
This is a hard fight to pick. I'll be honest with you. It's
just
is hard because, you know, if it was everything 3-minute rounds, 10-ounce gloves, I would pick Tyson.
The standard.
I'd pick Tyson.
Yeah.
But because of the showmanship of the whole thing,
it's been set up for Paul.
I think. But you know, and I don't know why Jake
Maybe
Paul
he
would
wants
want
to
lose.
retire.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. I don't understand. Why
Would you want to lose I mean,
I wouldn't want to lose to anybody.
Here, when I turned 60, everybody asked me, "What do you want for your birthday?" I go, I want to beat up a 25-year-old. You know what I mean? I did.
Thank God I'm 49.
No, but just to let him know I'm still around.
Yeah,
right?
I'm still here.
That's literally what I asked for.
Yeah.
Let me beat up a 25-year-old.
So how is that guy? Is he all right?
I didn't do it. I'm kidding.
So you didn't get what you wanted for your
No,
birthday?
not at all.
Damn, you just got a cake.
But it's just a mindset of a fighter, right?
Yeah.
We always think
One more time.
Yeah, and I've been retired since 1990, but I got to tell you, doing these fights doesn't give me as much pleasure, no matter how much success I have or how much failure I have. Doesn't give me as much pleasure as it did as being a fighter.
Winning that fight.
Yeah, that was magical. There was nothing like it. You know, now putting a good business deal together, winning on that, you know, it's like, it's the same thing, but nothing like winning a fight.
All right, well, let's wrap this bad boy up. I'm going to ask you a final question.
Okay.
Name of the podcast, the Get Shit Done Experience. I like to have people end the show with a little bit of inspiration, maybe something that a listener could say, hey, look, I'm going to apply that today. But you know what I'm going to ask you is a little bit different. What's the key to getting shit done? What's the most important key in so many words that you would define that has helped you?
Plan your work your plan, have discipline, have a purpose, keep your focus, don't take your eye off the prize. Don't be sidetracked. Be honest. Have integrity. And a good deal is when everyone's happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Thanks for joining us on the Get Shit Done Experience. And gentlemen, I just want to remind you, you got shit done.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Perfect. Thank you. This is great.
Can your business handle 15% growth? If yes, you have to engage with 2020 Design. They fuse data and creativity to stop the scroll, break through the noise, and grab the attention of your future customers. 2020 Design will create competitive, click-worthy campaigns, design and build custom websites, spark your social media presence, and structure email campaigns that get right to your audience, the decision maker. Let's boost attention and awareness, which allows you to convert more sales. Check them out at 2020design.com. That's the number 20, TWENTY design.com.